In this short video, I'm going to be talking to you about user groups. So what exactly can user groups do for you? Well, let's first take a look at your priority matrix team, everyone on your priority matrix license. Chances are they're not all alike. There might be the management level, there might be different functionalities, there might be different priorities, and definitely different projects. User groups helps you make sure that you're managing these different subsets of the group and clearly distinguishing between the two. While this distinction is made, it does not prevent different user groups from collaborating together. Two of the main things that user groups can do for you is that they give precise visibility into team workloads. You can toggle back and forth and compare the project lists, the workloads, the effort, and also the timelines for different groups. User groups also help you to easily invite entire teams to a project. Rather than having to go through and invite people one at a time, you can simply add the whole user group. So Priority Matrix user groups allows you to subcategorize your entire Priority Matrix team in your account into different categories. It doesn't completely separate them. Different team members in different user groups can always interact and collaborate as they normally would, but you can very quickly see the workload of a particular user group, quickly add 20 people to a project simply because they're in a particular user group, and then of course toggle back and forth to compare what different subsets look like. So we're going to filter by user group by going to the top right above our list of projects. As you can see, I can filter it down to the production user group view. This production user group has 3 projects. On the right, we can see that we have the production user group chosen. So as an example, when I created this project, I didn't have to add both Danielle and myself. I simply could select the user group and it would add those people automatically. If there's only 2 people, it doesn't make much of a difference, but if a user group has 20 people, you can rest assured that all those people that need to be part of this group have been quickly added at one click. You can edit and add new user groups by going to the top, and you can select Manage User Groups. This will take you to a box that opens up. You'll be able to click on all the user groups that you've already created, or you can always add a new one. So looking at the user groups that I have engineering, installation, management, marketing, and orders, as well as painting and production and sales. So if I were to say that I needed a new user group, I can simply click on this button, and I will decide the name of the group. I'm going to create an HR user group. I can add a description. I can also add an avatar. I found an image that corresponds to HR, and then I can select Create New User Group. And in a few moments, we will have this new user group created. Perfect. As you see, we've got the title, HR. This is a private group. It means that only the admin, which is myself, the person who's created that group, is allowed to add new people. So you can decide what you would like around that. I'm going to add a couple new members, and I can select whether I want Danielle to be an admin or not. As you can see, you can always edit the settings. Now, what I could do is I could look here and see that it's already created an automatic team project for the user group. I could always delete this, but you can also create new projects specifically. Or you can always go back, like I mentioned, create a project and then add a specific user group. So now we've created the HR user group. Let's go back and let's talk about what that does for your view. So currently we have the production user group, but I want to create a new HR project. I'm actually going to create an HR project from one of my templates. It's an HR client onboarding template. It is instantiating that template. And once again, I am going to then go here. I can select which user groups to add. I'm going to add HR. You see it automatically changes the access settings. Now then I will filter this view down to only HR, and we see that we've got 2 user group projects. So now not only can we filter in this way, but we can also get greater visibility. So one of the best things about Priority Matrix is that you can judge workload, you can look at deadlines and timelines. So currently, let's look at this. I'm going to add a couple due dates because due dates really help the reports and the visibility give you exactly what you need to see in terms of understanding whether or not you've got too much going on in a particular moment. So I'm just going to say that this is due today. I'm going to say that this is due in 2 weeks. So you can see I am using our function of chat commands that allow you to make changes with the comments. So perhaps this is a very, very long project. Adding due dates will help you see the span of time in the Gantt chart, in the calendar, etc. So now we've got this view. We can look at the calendar view, and now it'll show us data on the due dates. Now this is just the calendar view for this one project, but since we filtered it down to HR, if we go to calendar here, it'll filter it down to only the HR project still, and we can see what's going on. In addition, we can look at the Gantt chart, which gives us the timeline. So we see that HR is booked from the end of August to almost the end of October. We can pop open these different quadrants and see the span of tasks. We can very easily contrast this then with production as an example. So I'm going to click on the production user group, and now I'm going to see that while the production user group has the last task a little bit sooner, meaning that the end of their projects are around the beginning of September, they've actually got a lot more to do within that smaller time frame, which is quite interesting. And in contrast, going back to HR, they've got less to do within a longer span of time. Now, of course, HR and production are not necessarily going to share workloads, but as an example, say we're talking about different teams within HR who are working on the same things. Maybe a group of 3 in HR and another group of 3 in HR are given the same types of things to do, but they're actually inadvertently being given not an equal number of cases or clients to onboard. So you can always create user groups like HR with the name of the lead or HR1, HR2. So this can really help you make sure that different subsets and groups of people aren't being given the wrong amounts. And the same, of course, goes to production. If we're talking about a process or a phase in production, perhaps there are multiple production crews, multiple production teams. So if you get a new order, you can very easily understand which production team has the bandwidth to take on a new role. So this is user groups. Like I mentioned, you can filter your view here, but then again, you can also very easily create a new project and add a bulk number of people. Thanks so much for watching. I hope this was helpful.